So maybe I've sold you on science. Sign me up, you say. I know, I'm inspirational. But it's not without its problems. And scientists are people and make mistakes and are prone to take shortcuts. And so science does have its problems, and I want to be honest about that. It has its limitations. And as people, you know, we're sense of pride and don't like to be wrong, and sometimes have trouble accepting new ideas. When Lynn Margulis, for example, proposed endosymbiosis theory, the idea that mitochondria are basically bacteria living within our cells, people thought she was a little off, and now it's a pretty well accepted theory, but at the time not so much. Scientists have pressure to publish. You got to get your papers written in journals and accepted, and sometimes that leads to manipulation of data, taking shortcuts, ignoring negative results, and not publishing them. Sometimes people misuse the knowledge that scientists gain. So it's not the scientists themselves, but what happens afterward. Nobel was really disheartened by the use of his work in chemistry to invent dynamite and the destructive uses it was put toward, and established the Nobel Prize to encourage a peaceful use of scientific knowledge. Science can be poorly done. Sometimes this is because it's a first trial, but other times people just take too many shortcuts, too few samples, or too short a time period. It could be a variety of reasons, but it's not always perfect. Always limited resources makes that difficult. And scientists, like anybody else, to varying degrees, have sometimes a sense of superiority. I'm better than everybody else because I think this way. And so sometimes scientists come off as a bit snobbish. Well, it's not my goal to brainwash you into rejecting anything that's outside of the laws of nature, outside the natural world, and reject the supernatural. I'm inviting you to weigh evidence that's been collected and reach an honest decision. So base your decisions and your treatment on, for patients, on actual evidence present. Let them have visitors, play music, put up pictures, have flowers, invite people to pray for them. These are not bad things. They just don't replace evidence-based treatment. Now, there are those who will masquerade as scientists, and usually they're trying to sell something. A lot of people label this as pseudoscience. So they're claiming to be scientific, but without actually gathering the evidence. It's like a lawyer practicing without having passed the bar and have a license to practice. They prey on people's trust of science, often, again, to sell something. Now, those in the spiritual realm, priests and whatnot, are not pseudoscientists, so I don't want to leave you with that impression. Sometimes people make that mistake. They're just not scientists, but they're not claiming to be. They're claiming to have a different area of knowledge and expertise. So the problem comes in with people that are essentially claiming to have the backing of science, but haven't done the work. And so they'll use anecdotes instead of data. They'll rely on their expertise instead of evidence. I'm an expert and I know. And they'll often rely on either tradition or brand new discoveries instead of being open to criticism from others. And so we have to watch out for pseudoscience creeping in, and people choosing that because they see it as a valid alternative, and sometimes a cheaper one, to evidence-based medicine. Some pseudoscientists are easy to spot and others are not. At the most basic level, somebody puts on a lab coat, if they're selling some sort of diet pill, weight loss supplement. You usually find somebody with some amazing physique, probably much like myself. They'll put on a lab coat, and it gets laughs from students in person too. But and then they look like a scientist. So that's their claim. They don't show any credentials, and they say, "Look, I have this tea. It cures coronavirus." What is actually in the tea? Oh, that's proprietary. I can't really disclose that. Do you have any data you could show me? I've personally seen dozens of people cured by this tea. And what if it doesn't work? But we offer a money-back guarantee.